can I tell you what I love on this Friday?
Going to whether or not we want to hear it. That's what I'm thinking.
No. I love that all of this hysteria over the boat strikes, and then Trump does it again.
Yeah.
It's like a big, because we took out another one. Was it last night?
Yep. Yesterday, I think.
Yeah. So killed 4 narco terrorists. But the thing that I love about it is just that with all of this hysteria and all of this pearl clutching and all of this hand wringing over what happened back on September 2nd, which it seemed, and we talked a lot about this yesterday, but if you're just catching up, so the report is that there's a video out there that the 2 narco terrorists that Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump took out after their boat was destroyed and they were in the water, supposedly, no longer a threat, but they were taken out anyway. They were apparently climbing back up onto the boat and trying to continue the mission, so they took them out again. So there's supposedly video of that. But what I love is over the past, basically it's been a story this week, is that with all of that hysteria, Trump said, you know what? Hegseth said, you know what? Big middle finger, we're going to do it again. And they did it last night, taking out 4 people. I'd be willing to bet that one of the things that they're making sure is happening is that they take them all out with one missile. Like there are no the great Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. There are no survivors. If you've ever seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's in the news today. Lawmakers, the headline from CNN, lawmakers split on party lines after viewing video of boat strikes. Do you know what the thing is? The Democrats are going to say that Donald Trump is committing war crimes and all of that. They're not going to look at this rationally or from a this is war kind of standpoint. They're just not going to. They're going to continue down the road of Orange Man bad. So we'll get into more details on that coming up here on Nashville's Morning News. I do want to play Stephen A. Smith on The View. Now, first of all, I don't know why the ladies of The View, and we're going to do fun with audio here. So Joan hasn't heard this. I haven't heard this audio either. I don't know if Sam has, but The View keeps having Stephen A. Smith on. And I don't know if they're having him on to argue with him or if they're trying to raise his political profile. But everywhere you turned, there was on The View, at least according to the videos that I'm seeing, they're arguing with him. For example, Stephen A. Smith told The View to their face that all of the complaining that they do about Donald Trump, all the complaints that they do with Donald Trump, nobody cares. So this is what they said. Stephen A. Smith complaining about Donald Trump.
Trump is claiming that he aced the cognitive test, even though he's going on late night Truth Social tirades. In the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore.
All right, so right off the bat, Joan, as we are doing fun with audio, Joy Behar is saying that Donald Trump is up. Now, she is questioning his cognitive decline.
Yeah.
But she is saying that Donald Trump is up texting and texting. No, Joy, he's not texting and texting.
Right.
He's posting. He's posting on Truth Social. That's what he's doing. So who's got the cognitive decline? Is it Donald Trump? Or, is it Joy Behar? What do you think, Joan?
Oh, I know it's Joy Behar. Just listening to her saying that it's a word that we don't use anymore.
Yeah,
like she's the word police.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
So he's going on late night Truth Social tirades. In the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore to disability. He's attacking female reporters as piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday that Marco Rubio is boring, but not that boring.
Now, I think, did you think Donald Trump fell asleep? Because you can see it on Super Talk TV. It looks like look, folks. I love Donald Trump. I call him out. It looks like he fell asleep. You think he fell asleep, Joan, during that meeting? His eyes are closed.
It looks like he closed his eyes. Have you ever closed your eyes in a meeting?
I've fallen asleep in meetings.
There you go.
Yeah, I have. But I was doing overnights, so whatever. Either that or he was really irritated with Marco Rubio and had to close his eyes to be like, I've just got to show a little patience. But I don't think that was, I think he fell asleep. But I don't care. And I don't think most people do either. And that's the point that Stephen A. Smith made.
Would fall asleep. So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump.
Really? There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people
Is it still that
again.
number?
They would do it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States. Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, he knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because they weren't on their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third term. So now you're talking about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Mm-hmm. Marco Rubio is considered the adult in the room, the Secretary of State, National Defense, the National Security Advisor. You got J.D. Vance, he's the vice president, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said, don't fall for it. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president.
Yeah. All right, so now he's getting into conspiracy theories because I don't believe that is what Trump is looking to do. Remember Stephen A. Smith? I think, here's part of my take on Stephen A. Smith is I think that he got caught. I think he got caught when the Department of Justice found the illegal betting within basketball. Remember that whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith was like, I've been saying this for years. Donald Trump is coming. And he said it like awkwardly 9 times, right? And then it turns out that this was an investigation that dated back years into the Biden administration. And I don't know if he ever actually, clarified that whole thing. But I think that Stephen A. Smith, for whatever reason, people like to talk about him as somebody who might be running for president in 2028. I don't know if he will or not. I think that he's a smart guy, but I think he bellows. I think that there's some people in this world who believe that the louder that they scream, the more right they are. And the reality is that you're just screaming loudly your own ignorance. And I think that Stephen A. Smith, there are times when he does just that.
He wants to make sure he maintains that level of influence. And so because of when you see what he's done with the Honduras president, letting him out, pardoning him, even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States.
He was serving 45 years.
He was serving 45 years, absolutely. And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about the bomb.
So there's a number of things there, and I didn't cover that whole Honduran president thing yesterday. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit today. But, for me, Stephen A. Smith, and one of the things I noticed is that he is trying to be very, what's the right word, patient with the ladies on The View, because he clearly disagrees with them. And there's a number of times where they go after Stephen A. Smith for things that he has said about Trump and other things. All right, so Stephen A. Smith, what does he think about Gavin Newsom and his chances at winning the presidential election in 2028?
You got to pay attention to Gavin Newsom. He's gaining some traction. I don't think he'll win, but he's gaining traction.
Why not?
Because I think that ultimately they'll look at the state of California, look at affordability, look at homelessness, look at crime, and they'll say, hello, highest cost of living in the country. They'll be like, what? Wait a minute now. So I think that'll be a problem for him, but he's articulate enough to defend himself, and we'll see what happens with that. But
boy, is there any defense of California? I mean, you know what? I was talking to somebody. Who was I talking to yesterday? I went to, you know where I was last night, Joan? I went to the governor's mansion for.
You hoity-toity.
You know what?
Snooty guy, you.
I drank my tea with my pinky out there at the governor's mansion.
Dead giveaway.
But I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but about the train wreckery that is California. And how bad it is in California now. I don't know if there is any defense for California. Like Stephen A. Smith said, oh, well, Gavin Newsom can defend himself. how do you defend? It's like Tim Walz trying to defend against what the heck is going on in Minnesota with all of these fraudulent Somalians. You know what I mean? There is no defense as far as what whether it's Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, or Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, there's no defense for what they have allowed to happen to their states. I mean, for me, when you look at, and I think I may have said this yesterday, you look at these states, Chicago, the corruption in Chicago as well, they're all run by Democrats. They're all run by Democrat governors, whether it's J.B. Pritzker out there in Illinois, or Gavin Newsom, or Tim Walz. They're all Democrats. They're all dunderheads. They're all corrupt. And they're all just bred with that woke ideology, and is literally killing once great American states. And the crazy thing is, this is the crazy thing, is that you have these ladies, so-called on The View, and Stephen A. Smith, and they have the audacity to talk about, what Trump has done. Let's talk about what the Democrats have done. Because everywhere you turn, the terrible consequences of their reign, of their rule, is clearly evident. And that's why I don't understand. I mean, I get, politics. I've been doing this so long. I get it. Everybody's got short memories and everybody's sort of in their lane. But the evidence is clear. Which side is able to run states better? And it's the Republicans. Just compare California to Florida. Compare Tennessee to Illinois, right? I mean, there's some people, complain what you want about Bill Lee and some of the things that he's done or hasn't done or whatever. But Tennessee is still, in my opinion, a very conservative state, and it is a very well-run state and I'm a guy who's lived all over the country. And so you look at the state legislature, you look at Governor Lee, and you look at some of the things that we've done, and I think we have done a lot of really good things. Do I wish that we had gone into Memphis and cleaned up Memphis earlier? Absolutely. We should have done this. I mean, to be perfectly candid, we should have done what we have done years ago to save Memphis. And now the question is, okay, so are we going to keep that law enforcement in Memphis for years? And, Governor Lee and the state legislature, and the overriding assumption or presumption is that, we will keep some sort of additional law enforcement in Memphis for years to come, because that is what needs to happen. But there is no excuse for what is going on in California. There is no excuse for what's going on in Illinois or Minnesota. There just isn't.
Which is rich because their studio is right down the road from Brooklyn. I just wanted to grok something. In the last 6 years, where that studio with the View shot, there have been 2,493 rapes in that area.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They can stick their heads in the sand all they want, and I wish they would keep it there. But if they want to ignore what the rest of America sees, that's all fine, well, and good. It's like Stephen A. Smith said. People on our side of the aisle, they may have issues with Donald Trump, this, that, or the other, minor differences or indifferences or whatever. But the point is that nothing compares to what has happened on the other side of the aisle when it comes to the corruption, when it comes to the mismanagement of states, the mismanagement of finances, the mismanagement of immigration or illegal immigration, migration, whatever it is you want to say. So again, there is no excuse. It is 622. 5763 says this, and this may be true. 5763 says this. Trump didn't fall asleep. It was a contemplative long blink. Barely 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Joan, you ever do a contemplative long blink? You ever do that, Joan?
Contemplative long blink.
A contemplative long blink.
I suppose, but maybe not intentionally.
I had to do that after seeing Maplethorpe.
All right, so we're doing something new from now till Christmas, and we are choosing our own bumper music as opposed to the lame A bumper music, Christmas bumper music that the company has assigned. So, by the way, Joan, we have not gotten into trouble yet. And so I did mine in the 5. We'll review that in the 8. What is your choice, Joan Jones, her choice for Christmas bumper music for this hour?
Now you're going to love this one. Ready?
Sure.
Shall I play for you?
Love it, Joan.
Yeah, hold on. Here you go.
On my
That's for King and Country, Christian band.
Love that.
Just a reimagined way of telling the story.
I love Christian music.
Yeah.
Like the swelling vocals and the chorus and the inspiration in it all.
Yeah.
I've always had an appreciation for country and Christian music. So I love that. So well done, Joan. Now in the 7 o'clock, 7:35, we'll do Sam's. 8 o'clock, we'll do Chris's. And get yours ready because one lucky listener is going to be able to contribute during the crisscross handoff. We're going to bring in a listener to the discussion on the phone.
Love that.
And we'll let a listener choose. And we're going to do that every day until Christmas time. So thank you for participating, everybody. All right. Big news where Donald Trump, now he has ended yet another world conflict between Congo and Rwanda. And this is Donald Trump. Now, for people, because I know that there's going to be some people out there that are going to say, we don't care about, Donald Trump wrapping up the foreign wars. What about us? What about affordability? Oh, trust me when I say there's something in this for us, as in Americans as well. This is President Trump talking about this.
So this is a special occasion for a lot of reasons, but number one is it's our first occasion in this building using it for peace. And it's all about peace, and it's a great honor. And Marco, you've done a fantastic job in getting it ready, but it's a spectacular building, and we all appreciate it. And very importantly, we're settling a war that's been going on for decades with millions and millions of people killed. And these two gentlemen spent a lot of time backstage talking to each other, and over at the Oval Office. We were at the Oval Office together. It was beautiful. And I think it's just a very important day.
Well, it is an important day for a number of different reasons. So, okay, we got a foreign conflict, another foreign conflict resolved. But you know what Trump's real motivation is? Yes, world peace. We all want world peace. But it's actually about minerals. And it's actually about China and less of a reliance on China. You see, not only will these two countries stop fighting, but also the agreement opens the DRC's and, to a lesser extent, Rwanda's vast reserves of minerals, including cobalt, copper, lithium, and rare earth minerals to us, to America, to the United States. Now, the reason why that is important, and stop me when you've heard this before, because we were trying to do this with Ukraine as well, is that this means that we, as we are in this battle with China for control over AI and AI dominance throughout the world, this means that we now have access to minerals that are needed to build and manufacture these AI chips and so forth. And so it really does reduce our reliance on China. Because China, if you look it up, they control 70% of global cobalt processing. And so what this ultimately does is it helps us in our battle with China for AI dominance. And this is huge, because what this is going to do is it's going to help our supply chains for production of EV batteries and cell phones and defense tech and all of those kinds of things. So the ultimate goal of Donald Trump, and you have to remember this, a lot of the things that Donald Trump does, and yes, he does want world peace and save lives and all those things. He is genuine when he says that he wants to save lives, but it is also a geopolitical war with China. And I think that's huge because you do hear a lot, and I'm one of them who have said, we have to focus on affordability. The more that we are able to bolster our own AI production, and I've got a little bit on that coming up, but the more that we are able to have access to these minerals, the less reliance we have on China, that is better for our economy. So there is a method to Donald Trump's madness, and I love what he's doing. And I think that he is doing a great job. And I know that, there's people who are listening right now who are, screaming at the radio that I'm, kissing Donald Trump's rump. But I'm really not. I'm just calling it as I see it. This is, by the way, the president of Rwanda talking about all of this.
The biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
But when the president saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You think Donald Trump cares about that Nobel Peace Prize? I firmly believe, Joan, that Trump, and it feels like last month's topic, but I don't think he cares about the Nobel Peace Prize anymore. I think that he is truly, and I mean truly, focused now, hyper-focused on affordability. And if you are a Republican, if you're a conservative, if you're a Trump supporter, if you're a J.D. Vance supporter, and you want the House of Representatives to remain in control of the Republicans, this is very good news. So I asked Sam to look real quickly, looking up how many lives have been saved by President Trump forming this agreement. He's calling them the Washington Accords, the peace deal between Rwanda and Congo. And you're saying 610,000 lives?
So we miscommunicated in the talk back there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I was going for overall with all of the peace deals.
Got it.
I don't even think this one's factored into it yet because it's not on Grok's list.
It's so new.
Yeah. So with all of the other peace deals, and this goes back to his last administration in 2020 with the Abraham Accords, because that actually provides a very big bulk of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The conservative estimate of lives saved through the Trump peace deals would be 610,000. That's direct halts and short-term preventions. The broader estimate would be 1 to 2 million, including long-term stability from economic and diplomatic ties. That's per RAND. That's an analysis organization. And other analyses that would, so somewhere between 600,000 and 2 million lives, both current and future, have been saved or spared as a result of these peace deals.
That's the thing. It's so funny because I just don't understand. Donald Trump has saved all these lives, yet he takes out a few narco-terrorists and everybody loses their ever-loving mind. It is insane. But it's all about AI, and it is all about the president in this battle with China. So, a couple of things real quick. Number one, 2026 is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie, because there's a lot of people that are losing their jobs because of AI. And, President Trump, he's trying to, again, combat China over who's going to lead the world in AI development. But he's damned if he does and he's darned if he doesn't, because if he does, then he is ultimately leading to millions of people, millions of Americans possibly losing their jobs to AI. And that's why there's a lot of conservatives that say to President Trump that he should back off on trying to develop AI. But here's the deal. If Trump doesn't do it, China will. And those same people would lose those jobs anyway, but it would be, China's doing as opposed to America. If America leads the way with AI and this deal between Rwanda and Congo, this helps move us in that direction with the minerals deal, then we can have more jobs and more economic development through the AI development, and China doesn't get it. And so among the many things that Donald Trump has done to further our AI development, because remember Biden, you remember this? when Biden had all of those, and every day, it's like yesterday, we talked about Biden with the EV regulations on auto manufacturers that Donald Trump has taken away now. And that was big news yesterday. Ford and the other automakers are really happy that the shackles have been taken off. That is going to, if you go out and you buy a car in 2026, it's going to be $1,000 cheaper thanks to what Donald Trump did in deregulating the auto industry. Now, as far as AI goes, Donald Trump, since he took office, he has revoked a bunch of Biden-era policies that were really, there's no other way to describe it. They were over-regulations that a lot of people said were holding back American innovation. Some of them were based on, wait for it, equity.
I don't think people understand the magnitude of the AI race and what it is to I guess, achieve a more perfect program.
It's almost like the space race.
I was going to say it's exactly on the same level as the space race, and probably as important as the nuclear arms race.
Yeah.
As far as developing the technology first, getting to it first, and then setting a standard and a model that everyone else has to kind of go with. Also, the protections. I think that's the other thing that has to go with it and why it's so important to get out in front of it. Let's see what this technology is like at its precipice, and then also have, the legal protections in for workers and for citizens.
That's exactly right. You might as well be ahead of the curve as opposed to trying to play catch up with China. So Trump has done even more deregulation, massive investment in AI. We've had all of these partnerships with other countries and also companies in manufacturing AI, the chips and all that stuff here in our country versus India versus China. This is huge. Trump has accelerated permitting of AI infrastructure. He's promoted United States AI exports while at the same time keeping the focus on China and how adversarial they have been. And he's working to build these massive data centers as well. So this is something that makes all the sense in the world for the American people. Yes, some people are sadly going to lose their jobs. They're talking about have you heard the latest numbers? Some 5 million plus jobs could be lost in the next year alone to AI. Some are saying as high as 10 million to AI, white-collar jobs and so forth. But again, it's going to happen one way or another. And it's either going to be China or it's going to be us. And again, not to belabor the point, but we might as well be ahead of the curve. Most at risk, by the way, of folks losing their jobs to AI, they say entry-level jobs, administration and clerical, finance and legal analysts, and marketing roles. They say women and lower-wage white-collar workers face a 14 times higher transition risk for whatever reason. Those are just the stats. So I think that President Trump is trying to do all he can to take charge of AI across the world and do whatever he can to diminish China. That makes all the sense in the world. By the way, it's not all bad because there are a lot of jobs that are being added through AI, which is why President Trump is doing what he is doing.